TimeShot, yes, TimeShot. I'm in the place where my friends are, and I know together we'll go far. Yeah, TimeShot, yes, TimeShot. And I'm still doing things the TimeShot way.
Hello, people, it's Poet, and we're back on TimeShot. Now, I don't want this to get too long-winded. I've recorded this part 3-4 times now, and every time I start to talk about it, I get to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm getting into it too much. I don't want to get into too many of the details technically, but today has been a trying day. The last few days have been trying because my internet has been down. And I know, hashtag first world problems, but when your business and your long distance relationship rely entirely on the internet, it's trying. It's definitely trying. I'm not saying that I couldn't survive without it, but it was definitely unfortunate and difficult, and I don't want to deal with that. My thoughts today surround a lot around thoughts today surround around. Wait, what? What am I even saying? Basically, I got the runaround. Say the word around again. In terms of service, my service was both horrible and excellent, and the fact that there was that level of difference is troubling. That there are people out there who do their job simply to do their job and don't actually care, or don't take the time to care. I mean, I know this is nothing new. I've had these similar rants before. I've even talked about how, you know, when I was in school for network engineering and engineering, electrical engineering, all those kinds of courses, there were two groups doing it at the same time, going for certification at the same time. And our group, the one that I was in, was excellent. We did everything perfectly. We got straight A's. We were all on the dean's honor list, summa cum laude, as they say, graduation, and we were excellent. The other group, the B class, scraped by, C's get degrees kind of attitude. Didn't fail, but didn't excel. The thing is, if you were to take both people, one of the people from my class who got an A+, one of the people from their class who got a C or a D and passed, either way, they would both get the same job. And it's almost like you see that in the wild now, where, you know, I call in, I have an issue, one guy clearly just trying to get me off the phone, and then one guy doesn't want me to get off the phone. That's when you know you've got good support. So, to briefly sum it up, internet's been down for a couple days, and I called, and you try to get good service, you can't. Basically, they try to find their fastest out. Their fastest out. And then that's it. So, for example, my internet was down all yesterday. Had this one guy say in the morning, oh yeah, it's quote-unquote provisioning. This is what they called it, provisioning. You have to wait for provisioning. Well, what's provisioning? Basically, that means that the billing department controls your entire life. You cannot have internet unless the billing department says that you have internet, and sometimes it comes down to whose name is on the account, etc., etc., etc. That's fine. Waiting. I waited from 9 a.m. when I noticed the problem all the way till 6 p.m. because that was their magical number. 6 p.m. and we should be done with provisioning. Well, 6 p.m. came and went, and I still didn't have internet. Go figure. After spending 2.5 hours on the line with the guy, he found out that, oh, it wasn't anything to do with provisioning. It was a clerical error. That's what he called it. Clerical error. And, yeah, it could have been fixed immediately. It took me 4 seconds to do it, he said. Have a good day. I was so annoyed, frustrated, but defeated. There was nothing I could do or say. My internet was working. Just the fact that it could have been fixed, you know, 5-6 hours sooner, a bit disappointing. My internet dropped again an hour later. I was in the middle of a recording with Code and Jake doing our Discordancy series. I was the one hosting the server. Dropped again. Just like that. Have a good day again. Called in. Quick fix. Back up and running. This morning I woke up. First thing I do. Check my phone to see if I have internet. Sure enough. No internet. Called in. And the guy says, oh yeah, we have outages in that area. So, you know, that's your issue. That's your issue. Okay, have a nice day. And I was like, wait. Don't hang up on me yet. When can I expect to get service back? Well, I don't know, but it's probably going to be about 5 p.m. This is what it told me. And here it is, 9 o'clock again. When I'm checking this. I lost it. Not gonna lie. I was not very happy. I was an irate customer at that point in my life. For one of the very first times in my life. I mean, when I was in IT, as a manager in IT, I was responsible for the procurement of services and the quality of services. So what that means in English is that if someone offers me a service and they cannot provide it or the service goes down, I get on their case. Hold on a second. I need to look up. How do you make a trap chest? It needs a tripwire. How do you make a tripwire? Tripwire is made by... I've never made... Okay, hold on. I've never made one. Stick iron ingot? Really? This is the weirdest crafting recipe. Okay. Use one of these. Need some of these. So anyway, guy was ready to boot me off the phone. Saying, oh yeah, it's just, you know, something in your area. And like I say, I don't get upset with people. It's not what I do. It's not how I act. It's not how I am. It's not my nature. Sometimes I do it for funnies, you know, when I get quote-unquote poet rage over people. Very, 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 very seldom am I raging and, like, honestly upset. Like, actually upset. You know, there's a difference between video game rage about something that's not fair and something that affects your life that isn't working, you know. In any case, I was not happy, and I know that it wasn't the guy's fault, and I told him that. I said, first of all, I know this is not your fault, but, and then I went into my complete and utter rant, and I said to him, like, listen, I can tell just by the length of this call that you haven't checked into my system at all. Can you please, and I am not suggesting that you look into my account and see the issues that I've been having and at least check to make sure that I'm not still having the same issues that I was for the last few days. Can you just at least check, please? Please check. So he checks, and sure enough, sees that I'm right. That, yeah, there is some bigger issue. And it had nothing to do with the outage in the area. But I had to harass him, basically, to get to that point. They were ready to just quickly kick me off the phone and say, yep, good enough. Wait until 5. If it still isn't fixed, we'll send a guy the next day. That is not acceptable. That shouldn't be the way that it is. What the heck happened here? Oh. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, that shouldn't be the way that it is. And the guy says he fixes a few other things, and says, okay, well, it'll be tomorrow, or no, it should be, if they can fix anything on our end, we'll do that. If not, it'll be tomorrow. Which is, I mean, that's if that's the best he can do, that's the best he can do. I'm not going to fault him for trying. At least he tried. So, okay, my option is to wait again, yet another day without internet until 5 or 6 o'clock. But instead, he's basically told me, he's like blacklisted my number at that point. You cannot call in. Don't call us, we'll call you kind of attitude. I don't like being treated that way. I don't think anybody does. So I'm sitting there, and about an hour had gone by. I wanted to make sure that, you know, a good enough amount of time had gone by. And then it occurred to me why because I know I've been in that industry for 15 plus years. I know IT, I know the front end, the back end, I know all of it. I used to run networks. I know how they work. I know what to do. I know the ins and outs. And I was thinking about a solution to my problem. And wanted to run it by them. So I call in again. And I said, you know, I have maybe an option that would work. A suggestion. What do you think about blah, 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 blah. And the guy actually looked at that suggestion and said, you know what? That would actually work. So let's try that. It should only take about 5 minutes. I'll call you back. This is what he said. Gotta keep in mind, every time I'm mentioning calling them in, I called them 5 times. Roughly. Every time I called in, it was a different guy. A different person that I spoke to. But this guy says, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'll call you back when they're done. I'll call you back in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. Meanwhile, I was setting up my house for the network, the new network that I had envisioned in my brain. And I don't want to get too technical into how I figured out a fix for it. But basically, an hour had gone by, and I still hadn't received a call. So I called in again, and I said, hey, how's it going? I just want to find out the status, you know, because I was told I was going to get a call back, and I didn't. So, what's up? Guy looks at the thing, and he says, oh, no, that guy didn't know what he was doing. Yeah, you weren't going to get a call back. In fact, they canceled it. So, yeah, you were going to be waiting a couple days for an answer. Nice to know. I gotta say that the guy that I ended up talking to, that last guy, the final guy, after 5... This is the 6th call. After the 5th call. The 6th call, this guy finally tells me the truth. And he said, you know, when they say it's provisioning, and we say this magical number of 6 o'clock, that's a lie. We say that to get people off the phone. We say that so that we can give ourselves ample time to try to figure out the issues, to get things sorted. And sometimes provisioning takes a while, but usually 5-10 minutes once they get the ticket. He said, so honestly, you didn't deserve that kind of service. This is what he's telling me, and I'm appreciating his honesty, but I'm defeated, like I said, in feeling that, like, I have tried for days to get someone to be on my side, and it's taken this long, it was... What do you even say to this, being told this? But I appreciated the truth. I appreciated honesty. I value honesty above most traits in humans. I expect it a lot. It makes me maybe a little bit naive sometimes. But I want honesty and I expect honesty. So I appreciated this guy's honesty, the final guy. And calling him the final guy speaks volumes, because you already know that, you know, after being yanked around for 5+ hours on the phone, total phone call time with their support, this guy being honest with me for, he was on the phone with me maybe 30 minutes. But the reason he was on the phone with me for 30 minutes is because he refused to hang up. He refused to put me on hold. He refused to give me less than his best. And, oh, I thought I finished that window. Oops. He refused to give up on me. And the guy deserves a medal, guys. Like, he was on the ball. He knew what was going on. He knew that they were just giving me the runaround. And he knew that I expected better and deserved better. So I guess my entire reason for mentioning any of this is to try to the best of my abilities, drive the thought that to be truly excellent, it's not a race for time. Sometimes it just comes down to the fact that you are willing to be there for somebody. He was willing to be on the phone. And I know these guys get timed. They get timed. They have a quota to meet. They are constantly being watched and judged and scrutinized for their work, their quality. I certainly hope that it shows that, you know, if the first guy dealt with me in 30 seconds and I had to call in another 5 times, total of 5 hours or so to get the thing fixed, I hope it shows that that first guy was really the responsible party, the catalyst to this whole thing. That if the person had been willing to spend 30 minutes with me from the beginning, I wouldn't have had to have spent 5 hours total. So, like, what can I say about this whole experience? Is that it's just, you know, it's opened my eyes about a lot of things in the service departments of these companies. Nothing too new, but, you know, when the one guy was honest with me, and, you know, maybe he's thinking of quitting. Maybe he already has a job offer. He didn't need to give me any of that honesty. He did anyway, because I deserved it, he said. To be told that, you know, when we say this to people, it's just because we want them off the phone. And, you know, it's just, it means so much to me that there was someone out there that honest and who was willing to help me and figure out what was wrong and sort it all out. My internet is back up in 30 minutes after his call, as opposed to it was going to take 2 days with the other guy. And I also have to applaud myself in not settling for less. And I wanted to kind of drive that element to this whole conversation as well, in that, you know, if you aren't getting something that you want, or if you feel you deserve, and you deserve the world. Everybody deserves the world. Keep that in mind whenever you get anything. Whether it's a hamburger or cable TV to, you know, a brand new comic book that you've just bought off the shelf. You deserve the world. You deserve it. You earn money. You go out, you work hard, you earn money, you pay for a certain thing, a service. With that hard-earned money, sweat, blood, sweat, and tears. If you don't get the service that you deserve, say something about it. Speak up for yourself. Don't settle for less. And that's what I did. I was able to say, no, 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 no. This isn't right. Please fix this. Try again. I'm not accepting your answer. Try again. Try harder. And as a result of that, I was able to get my internet up and running. Now, when I was in IT, I used to do that a lot for people in that, like, oh, I was told that it was irreplaceable, or that I couldn't fix that issue, or that's just the way that it was, or, you know, and oh, I was told that it would take 5 hours to do that. How did you do it in 5 minutes? You know, and I used to often have to explain to people, well, they lied to you. You know, the reason that they said that was to get you out of their face, you know, and to be on the receiving end isn't fun, you know. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. It's just funny that, like, something changed when I looked at this map. Oh, maybe the bridge. It's just funny that, like, for a little bit more care, a little bit more TLC, I wouldn't have had to waste 5 hours of my day and 5 hours of their phone time. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you yourself are like one of those people who does not take the time because you don't care, because you're not showing that level of caring, maybe you're not in the right industry. Maybe you're not in a job that you enjoy. Maybe you should work harder. Maybe you should show more care. Because, you know, I called them back. Funny enough. Called them back after I'd been on the phone with this guy essentially for 30 minutes. You know, I'd been on the phone with the company for, you know, over the course of 2 days, 5+ hours. I spoke to the manager and basically just gave the guy a commendation of my own. Commended him for what he did. Showed my appreciation. And I repeatedly said to the guy, you know, I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much. That's the way that I spoke with the guy who was helping me out. To the guys who were not helping me out, I was probably edging on rude, a little bit curt with them, a little bit, you know, less than happy at times. You will make your job 1,000 times easier when you show a pride in what you do. So, I mean, that's just my advice from the whole thing. You know, if you are in the service industry and you really don't want to care, well, that's up to you, honestly. But I really hope that in me saying, you know, this guy now, who knows where my little recommendation may go. You know, not a recommendation, but like I spoke to the supervisor and said, you know, I just wanted to say that this guy, so-and-so, really went above and beyond. Despite 5 hours of phone time with 6+ people, he spent time fixing the issue, being honest with me, and he made my day, you know. That guy will now go far, you know, that'll go maybe on his personal record, you know, in the future job interviews and stuff. If he's going for a different job, a different promotion, something like that, on his record, it might say, you know, customer said that he was doing great, you know, like that kind of thing. That's what I hope happens. So it goes to show you, you know, if you do good things, you will be rewarded for it. Hopefully. Sometimes not, but you shouldn't expect that you'll be rewarded for it. You know, it is, but it's nice when you are, I think. So, you know. Anyway, that's basically all that I wanted to talk about today. Just get all this off my chest. This whole support issue. And again, just to kind of say, like, number one, support stinks. So, you know, deal with it. Number two, don't settle for less. You deserve it. It's hard, I know. Like I kind of alluded to it when I was in IT. I used to fight for people all the time to get the service that they wanted. It's hard to tell when you're getting the service that you want and when you're not. I think at the end of the day, if they aren't doing something that you feel, even if it's just a gut feeling that this should be easier than this, it probably is. Don't let them get off the phone. Don't let them say no to you. Don't let them tell you something that would upset you. Don't settle for less. And the last thing, of course, is to do your best at all times, because you will be rewarded for it. You know, maybe that other guy, the first guy who essentially, like I said, was the catalyst for this whole thing, who wasted my time and wasted everybody else's time. He'll probably keep his job because his times are really good. And, you know, I didn't exactly call back to report him for being a doofus. Because I'm also not that kind of person. He'll probably keep his job for a long time. Meanwhile, the person that I commended may be his boss one day. So, or be in a position of higher power where he can oversee some of these kinds of changes. So, do your best in the job you do, and you'll be surprised by how you may be rewarded even unbeknownst to you. You know, he didn't expect to get me to send a message to his supervisor, but I did anyway, because he deserved it. So that's all that I have to say about the whole thing. Yeah. Interesting day. I finally have my internet back. I have my internet back. No more reading books for me. That's right. I'm burning all my books. They're gone now. I'll never need them again because I've got my internet back. I wanted to briefly at the end of this episode thank you guys for watching, but what do you think about this idea? I love the way that it looks on the overviewer now, or not the overviewer, but this overview map. Love the way that it looks, kind of like an X-Man logo, this big X on the top. I love that. What's with those two little blue dots, though? That's kind of weird. I know what those are. Those are the prismarine blocks showing underneath. Funny. Anyway, that building right there, did I talk about this? I did. I did a video where I was building part of it. Okay, so this whole thing is kind of changed. I finished it off camera. It's not 100%, but it's 90%. Started adding more quartz. And I changed all of these stalls to now have more quartz in them. And it looks so much better. I mean, maybe I just have this affinity for quartz where nothing that is built in quartz can look bad. But, like, especially, like, if I stand here, okay? Like, stand here and look at, like, the way that looks. That little shop stall compared to this whole quartz city. It just looks better rather than the completely clashing style that it was before. Despite, like, I wanted it to be a clashing style. And it still kind of does. But it looks like it at least fits. And then the bank, this is what this building's going to be. Again, added a ton more quartz to it. It definitely looks like it could fit inside of this big city here. A lot of wood on it, though, like those buildings don't have. But again, it looks pretty good. It's got counter inside. This is where people will leave their payments for stuff. This section here, this ender chest is actually going to move. And I can do that right now, in fact. You know what? It's going to be here somewhere. I haven't decided yet. This is going to be the currency exchange right here. So people can come in with like a stack of iron and still pay for stuff that they've taken from here. Okay. So the gauge I've done is 1 diamond equals 16 pieces of gold equals half a stack of iron. So if someone comes in with half a stack of iron, they can still get 1 cactus piece stack, you know. That's the way that I'm going to work it. So basically everything costs 1 diamond or this exchange rate. And I don't know if this is good exchange rate yet. Gold is fairly rare, but we do have things like mesas, which spawn tons of gold. Iron is not as rare, but we do have things like iron golem farms. I don't want to make it a whole stack of iron because that might be a little bit ridiculous. Half a stack is where I've got it at. I think this is pretty balanced. I might tweak it a little bit, but I think it's pretty balanced. I thought about that for a while last night or the night before. So that's where we're sitting right now with the exchange, the currency exchange, the item payments right here. So basically, like if I have 1 stack of iron, I can, or maybe I need my diamonds and I want to pay in iron, I could always grab 1 diamond from here, put a stack of iron in there, or a half stack of iron in there to pay for things. And then I go over here and I put my payment, my half stack of iron in here, or my diamond, or my 16 gold. And I can then take the item. That's how it's going to work. It sounds pretty easy. It is pretty easy. Hopefully it's explained. I'm going to put up a little notice board. Probably like, you know, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Doesn't even need to be made out of quartz. But like, you know, I'm going to put up a board here. Basically just detailing with signs like, you know, please pay at the bank before you take an item. And then like in the bank, I might have a sign in here saying like how the currency thing works. It'll be easy for people, I feel. But that's where we're going to end the episode. I'm going to go and knock out a few more recordings now that my internet is back. Tell you what, when you have your internet down, you learn to get things done for the little amount of time you have it back. So we're getting back to TimeShot here. Which was kind of unprepared. I'm probably going to be jumping onto my dinosaur world. I'll probably record some Jurassic World Builder. I'll be maybe recording more Discordancy today if I can connect with those two. And yeah, we are rolling here. I'm going to be doing a ton of recording too because I'm going to Michigan to visit Win. And so I need to get stuff done because I don't want to work too hard while I'm there. I need to get like a couple weeks worth of recordings done. So yeesh, got to do some work. Gotta hurry and do it. That looks pretty good. It looks less like a radio now, which I really like. Yeah, I really like how that turned out. Really cool. On the overviewer anyway. I don't know if this looks better. Maybe you guys can leave a comment about this if you're not leaving a comment about the whole support thing. But what do you think? Yay or nay? It's kind of subtle, so I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Anyway, that's where we're going to end the episode. Like this video. Leave your comments below. Talk about support. Talk about the way that this looks. Talk about the way that this looks. Talk about striving to be better. Talk about not settling for less. Talk about any of those types of things that I talked about. And we'll see you next time on TimeShot. Bye-bye.